Hello and welcome to Halcyon Blink. My name's Leonides. I'm going to be your host of this episode. And on this episode again, we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to talk about being an Arsenal fan.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Depending on when this airs, Arsene Wenger has left Arsenal Football Club. For a long time, that would have made me sad. On this occasion, not so much. Being an Arsenal fan has been a tricky experience over the last 7 or 8 years or so. Prior to that, being an Arsenal fan was an absolutely amazing experience. Yes, you didn't win the title every single year, and yes, you didn't necessarily win a trophy every single year, but the football we played, the players we used to bring in and develop, the amount of trophies we used to win on average was pretty good. The level of performance and sophistication of our football was excellent, and there was an air of optimism around the club. Yes, we might not have been the biggest, and yes, we might not have had the most money, but we were the classiest. We had the best we played the best football, we had the best kit. I'm not going to argue that point. The 2003-04 season, the Invincibles kit, that 02 kit, that is a sexy kit. That is a sexy, sexy, sexy kit. In terms of being an Arsenal fan these days though, it's more about the combative nature of the fan base. People are talking about that subsiding now with Arsene Wenger leaving, but I think they're ignoring the culture of the world today. Naturally, there will be another enemy to fight. There will be another foe to fell as far as the Arsenal fans are concerned. In fact, Paddy Power, I think it was Paddy Power at least, highlighted this brilliantly in a skit where the fans were pissed off at Wenger. He announced he was leaving. Then they talked about how great he was. And then they said, well, who do we get pissed off with now? And they say, the board. And they throw up signs saying the board, Arsene Wenger, 1 more year. It's true. It's 100% true. The board is still to blame. Arsene Wenger leaving tactically does change things. Of course it does. And it adds an air of optimism to the club. But at the same time, Arsenal fans are what they are. They're fickle creatures these days. I've always preached and advocated patience and have a plan and think about don't just put forward the name that's put forward to you. 2 years ago when they were first talking about this, the names are completely different to what they're talking about now. So that shows you what the fans actually know.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
In terms of being a fan going forward, that's where it gets interesting, because now a lot of the players that brought in under Wenger are looking at being shipped out. The stadium is paid off, so there should be money to spend. In terms of Champions League, we're not in it, but you know, we could always qualify again. It's no big deal. And the FA Cup is now the legacy of this club in the last sort of 5-6 years in terms of pursuing that as a competition that we can own and say is ours. So it's a time to be optimistic as an Arsenal fan. But what I think people don't understand about, you know, being a football fan to a certain extent these days is the level of, it's tribal. It's when you're an Arsenal fan, you feel part of other Arsenal. You feel an instant kin bond. You're an Arsenal fan. Okay, I got you.
Don't forget the thumbs up. Oh, friend. Oh, new friend. Oh, friend. Please be my friend.
You're a Man United fan? Okay, fair enough. I would guess you're a Glory supporter then. Man City fan? Oh, you're even worse. Chelsea fan? Oh, I didn't know you still existed this year because you hadn't won a Premier League title. I hadn't heard from any of you. Next year when they win the title, motherfuckers be coming out of the woodwork. But as an Arsenal fan, I tend to find other Arsenal fans tend to be the more reasonable people, more level-headed people, and they also tend to be the most passionate when things go wrong. They tend to be the angriest fans. So I still enjoy being an Arsenal fan. I always will be an Arsenal fan. I'll still buy the shirts, I'll still buy tickets and go see them occasionally. I'll still tweet about them, still love them. But I think what I wanted to highlight in this video is that being an Arsenal fan isn't easy. It's an emotional roller coaster of a ride sometimes, and I think if you have any level of investment in anything that has a habit of changing, television shows don't tend to be once you're invested and it gets worse or it gets better. But with Arsenal, it can change from week to week in terms of, I love them, I hate them, I love them, I hate them. It's almost like an abusive relationship in that you want to leave so bad, but you keep coming back because you love them anyway. So in terms of going forward, Arsenal has reason to be optimistic in the future. I hope to be part of that future in terms of going and seeing them and watching them and being invested in buying the Gunnosaurus dolls and all the rest of that jazz. If you never watched football before, if you don't give football a chance, I would say, you know, just watch an Arsenal game occasionally. The football's great. The fans are okay. They're not the most racist or sexist in the world. I say most because some still are, because they're football fans, of course they are. And it's a great environment. The Emirates Stadium is a fantastic experience in the middle of London. There's tons to do, so I'd advocate you go and do it. Some free plugging for Arsenal there, not that they needed it. So thanks very much for watching this episode of Halcyon Blink. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out some of the other content creators in the description below. Follow me on Twitter. And as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.